Hello, everybody. Welcome to Natural Health with Nathan Crane. I'm really excited you're joining us today for this really special interview with Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I'm going to introduce Dr. Melissa, and then we're going to dive into an incredible product I'm excited to share with you, as well as some really important information that can support you on your own cancer prevention or cancer healing journey. So Dr. Melissa Gallagher switched career gears midway in her 20s as she decided to learn more about the ways to heal her own body from a natural perspective. She sought a master's in holistic nutrition as well as a doctorate of naturopathy. With over 1,100 clinical hours of training, Melissa was personally trained by the team who created electrolymphatic drainage therapy and maintains a vigorous schedule that involves work with cancer clinical trials, cancer patients in the beginning, middle, and end phases of surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, and end-stage cancer supportive care. And for the past 12 years, Melissa's focus has been working with individuals addressing digestive disorders, hormone balance, detoxification therapies, and primary and secondary lymphedema. Her website is naturalhealthresources.com. Dr. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you and talk with you about this amazing field of natural medicine and really help inspire your viewers and the folks that are in your community to support their health from a natural perspective.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into some really good content and information that can really support people on their health and healing journey. And I want to share with everybody, the thing that really sparked this interview was I've been taking a product called Organics 7M, which is an organic fermented mushroom blend, which is incredible. And so I wanted to do basically, a podcast on this product, and not only about the product, and give everyone a discount below. So if you want to look into that, you can click the link below and get it yourself. But because I take it, I believe in it, I've researched it, I know the ingredients that are in it are phenomenal. I want to help educate people so that whether you get the product or not, you can leave this interview being more educated about the incredible benefits of these fermented mushrooms, right? And so let's start there, the fermentation. So actually, let me back it up a little bit. What brought you into beginning to work with this company, Organics, which I've known for quite a while? I love their products. This is one of the ones that's in my arsenal, my own supplementation arsenal. I believe in strongly. And what brought you as a natural doctor to begin working with them, or yeah, maybe you start.
Sure, absolutely. Well, like you, I've known them for a while, and they're a leading provider of really high potent, extremely powerful blends of natural herbs and compounds that support the body. And so I've been aware of them. I've recommended their products, and the biggest thing for me is the benefit that I see with my patients. And so if products are providing a positive yield and we're seeing good effects with both lab work and how they're feeling, then those are often triggers where I want to look at working more closely with different brands like Organics. So I'm honored to work with them even further in providing educational resources to their community and communities outside that are using their products, and to really educate how best to use these and why Organics is really not just a leader, but an innovator in terms of some of the production and the manufacturing, and more so the extraction process. As many of you all, your viewers and you and I are subscribed to this, not all products are created equal and not all ingredients are equal. And so, sometimes purchasing a supplement at your CVS or, your local pharmacy or grocery store, or even the big box stores like Costco and Target, you're not getting high potency or high quality. And that, not only are you throwing money down the drain, but you're not getting the effect you want. And I'm always looking for different brands that provide really high potent quality products, and also unique innovative manufacturing and extraction processes that can help maximize the effect. So I'm always looking for that wow factor. And
Yeah.
organic definitely has that, as you probably experienced you notice a difference, and it's incomparable in terms of the products. They just outshine and exceed a lot of the products that are easy to grab, but they're just not manufactured or extracted in a way that is the max benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to mention again, Organics has given our community here, for those of you tuning in, a special discount if you want to try, Organic 7M yourself and see what you feel different. There's a link below. You can get that discount. But I want to dive in a little bit more into what's in it and help people if they're choosing whatever, supplement or mushroom product specifically, because we know the benefits of mushrooms are incredible when it comes to, immune enhancement and anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammatory properties, right? So many incredible studies have been done on mushrooms, and we'll share some of those. But why fermentation? Why is fermentation important when it comes to, a mushroom blend like this?
Sure. So one of the things that fermentation allows us to achieve is sometimes greater bioavailability. So we can access the core max nutrient density of that extract, for instance. And in the case of mushrooms, and 7M specifically, how organics creates this highly potent blend of 7 different mushrooms. What they do is they create a fermented kind of beginner, a fermentation starter, if you will. And so just like when people are brewing beer or they're making yogurt, nut yogurts and seed yogurts, any of the yogurts, you have to have a starter. And one of the things that they do is they start with a very clean starter process. Part of the starter process is an infusion of adaptogenic herbs. And so the adaptogenic nature of this fermentation process not only yields the extract benefits of these 7 different mushrooms, but then the adaptogens, for any of those unfamiliar with adaptogenic herbs, adaptogens help manage and help your body respond to stress. And we have an assortment of stressors. It's not just the kind of phrase of like, oh, I'm under stress, but literally we have environmental stressors, physiological stressors, physical stressors, biochemical, neuroendocrine stressors. There's an assortment of stressors within our body and externally that can overwhelm and bombard our systems. And that tends to be, as a naturopath, a lot of the root cause that I see with illness and disease in my patient practice. So with the way that the organic 7M is started, it started in a base of an adaptogenic blend. So what you get is not just a mushroom extract, but you're also getting stress relieving, stress management, and stress adaptation. That combination is what really yields this unique formulation that we're able to take in a capsule form. It's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the big takeaway there as well is it increases bioavailability by fermenting these mushrooms, right? Which is important when you take any supplement, right? Or you're eating any food for that matter. It doesn't really matter how many nutrients are in that food or in that supplement if you are not absorbing those nutrients. And that's, I'm sure, why one of the reasons you work with a lot of patients in helping them to restore gut health is because gut health is critical to your body's ability to absorb those nutrients, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit. I want to share a quick study, and then I'd love to hear some of your comments. There was a massive meta-analysis that came out recently, very recently, that looked at tens of thousands of people from the 1960s to 2020, and all they looked at was a difference of people who ate about 18 grams of mushrooms per day and people who ate 0 mushrooms per day. And they looked at their cancer risk, and they saw that people who ate 18 grams of mushrooms per day versus people who ate 0 grams of mushrooms per day had a 45% decreased cancer risk.
Mm.
That's massive when you think about it. And so people ask me, okay, so how much is 18 grams? 18 grams of mushrooms is only about 2 small mushrooms. It's not very many. So you 2 small mushrooms per day, and you had a 45% decreased cancer risk. I thought that's fascinating, right? And then, I've done a lot of research on mushrooms and all the properties within the mushrooms, and you find out they have incredible anti-cancer properties and anti-inflammatory. And maybe there's some other things that you've discovered throughout all of your research, in terms of how mushrooms can help somebody dealing with some kind of chronic health condition like cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's what if you are a gardener or anybody, has yards that they maintain, and you've ever had mushrooms pop up, like, mushrooms are a really interesting addition to our ecosystem. And there's some really great documentaries too. So I can't say I am like the mushroom expert, but I've been personally recommending and consuming mushrooms from the beginning of my own crazy health journey in my early 20s. Mushrooms are really, really amazing for humans and other mammals, in helping fortify and support their systems. And, I was thinking the other day, it was one of these kind of things where, we don't always kind of step back and say, like, okay, we're the human race, and, there are animals in nature, and, like, do wild deer get cancer? Do bear, populations, do they get cancer? And, we may or may not know that. We know zoos have instances and they're eating, people-oriented food. What is really kind of
we know
interesting,
that's wild, right? We know domesticated
yeah,
dogs 50 years ago almost had no cancer, and today now they have over 50% of cancer, right?
yes,
And what's the biggest change is all this processed dry kibble food that's been given to them in their diet. It's the biggest change, these domesticated animals. But I know you're referencing wild animals,
yeah.
which is different. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, well, it's totally true, because what these wild animals are consuming are mushrooms
Yeah.
and grasses
Yeah.
and natural occurring herbs and dandelion and red clover and all these things that nature has put out there for the entire ecosystem of animals and humans to partake and to use as medicinal and dietary resources. And if you look at kind of the ancient history of not just medicine, but also food consumption, a lot of the ancient cultures and ancient medical practices have always had at the very base mushrooms. And we're talking like, the organics product has 7, but there are thousands upon thousands of assorted mushrooms, and we find them on all of the assorted continents, and a lot of them pair up with the required needs of those animals and humans. And so there's an interesting kind of biology of mushrooms that really benefits the consumer of the mushroom. And the mushroom itself has its own ecosystem, and it has the capacity to protect itself from, any type of illness, if you will, in the plant world. And that's really amazing if we can harness that through the extraction process. And so, you kind of look at it like, okay, if you are, any of the viewers that are sitting here watching this and you're going through a cancer journey, or you have a friend or family member that is seeking to protect themselves and really bolster their immune support and help protect their brain and lower the stress levels from a diagnosis or any of the ensuing treatments, mushrooms are a great resource. Now, there are an assortment of mushrooms that we know and have been clinically studied that have specific body system benefits. And that's where we can talk, more about the 7 here and the product itself. But if individuals and patients have specific symptoms or side effects, mushrooms can be an option as well to support that. Now, obviously, you want to work closely with the different care providers, and mushrooms, just like herbs and pharmaceuticals, there's always going to be potentially a risk of contraindicators. So you want to make sure you do your research and get the clearance. But that's something that's really important to kind of have that knowledge and understanding, is that this is an amazing natural gift of immunity and strengthening of the body, the vascular system, and the overall support of our stress response mechanism, and immune state as well is greatly enhanced. And when we're looking at cancer, the immune system is one part of the body that we need to really zero in on and support, bolster, and modulate.
It is the core system that we need to focus on, right? And especially with cancer. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I wanted, and let's talk about that a little bit, how the benefits of each of these mushrooms and maybe the synergy of the 7 of them together. But I want to mention here first, I want to make it clear to everybody, I never would encourage anyone to replace food with supplements. That's just so important. Like, if your diet is crap and you think you can supplement your way out of a crap diet, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. You cannot do that. You have to get your diet right first. If you had a choice, if you only had one choice between buying real mushrooms from the grocery store and cooking them and eating them every day, or buying a supplement, I would always tell you, buy real organic mushrooms and add them to your diet, because you're always going to get more benefits from a whole food in your diet, especially by cleaning up your diet, right? So key is get your diet on point. And then supplements are meant to do just that. They're meant to supplement your diet, help you get some of those nutrients you might not be getting from your nutrient deficient food, or if you need a therapeutic support, right? There's like, okay, well, you just can't eat 100 mushrooms a day, right? It's just too many. So, you might up some dosage based on, what your naturopath or your doctor recommends, right? But you can get more nutrients that way through a supplement. So supplementation can support you, but it should not replace your diet. I just want to make that clear. But secondly, I take supplements, even though, my diet is very, very, very clean. I eat 99%, 95 to 99% organic, whole foods, plant-based diet, very diverse, eating from all the different families of plants. And then I'm adding on supplements just to support my health. And I think that's, everybody tuning in, if you look at it that way, you'll get greater success. And so in no way are we saying, this product is going to help you with cancer. What we're saying is there is a lot of evidence, a lot of research, and some great studies that show that these mushrooms specifically do have incredible healing properties and properties to support your body and healing itself. One of them, that you mentioned there, is the immune system. So how do these 7 mushrooms in here, that are in this product, these 7 mushrooms specifically, how do they support the immune system?
Sure. So there's kind of 2 levels of support. So one of the things that we know is mushrooms are synergistic. So a lot will operate more beneficially when we see them in blended form. We also will lean towards some of the mushrooms in here to support the immune health. Some are specifically clinically studied for immune boosting, enhancing the immune response, or the modulation of the immune system. But then others are going to minimize the effects of stress and other factors that weigh on and decrease the immune system. So, there's kind of these 2 levels where if you have a poorly functioning digestive process, you might have IBS or GERD or indigestion, or you have chronic constipation. Well, that's not great for your immune health, because 85% of our immune health comes from our gut, specifically our microbiota, the healthy bacteria, and the balance of bacteria in your gut influences not just your immune state, but also the overall health and wellness and enhanced, optimized wellness of your body. So for instance, in that type of case, like chaga is one of the blends in the 7 that does support a healthy digestive process. It happens to have the highest naturally occurring antioxidant level of any natural organism. So on the ORAC scale, which is our scaling of evaluating a nutrient, living nutrient, food or mushroom or herb, we measure the ORAC scale. It's the value of antioxidant potency it delivers. Well, chaga does that as well. And in turn, chaga also can help lower our stress levels and decrease cortisol, which is the stress hormone that the adrenal glands produce. That in turn helps balance our blood sugar levels. And blood sugar has a big role in terms of impairing and causing damage to our vascular channel, but also impairing our immune state. So there are these different levels that we see the mushrooms deliver. And that's what's so unique about mushrooms is, and we call this category of using mushrooms in kind of the wellness category, functional mushrooms. These are ones that, like these 7 that we know are highly beneficial and have multiple levels of support. As far as immunity, one of the ones that's really common for a lot of folks that have done some of the different teas that you might find or read about that are, cancer teas, turkey tail mushroom is in that category where it is, like chaga, a high antioxidant, but it deeply affects the immune state and has a direct balance on our cellular health. So it helps the mitochondria of our cells, and it helps that restoration and the rejuvenation and repair of our cells. So there's a detox component that turkey tail delivers. And then from another immune perspective, reishi's kind of like, consider it like the godfather, if you will, in mushroom categories of supporting the immune system. And it is very common. So most people know reishi more than any other mushroom that's out there. And it's partly because of that. It's just notoriously beneficial for enhancing our anti-aging process, lowering any kind of immune deficiencies that are occurring in folks, viral invasions, bacterial repetitive infections. Reishi's wonderful for that.
Reishi is I just want to add there, reishi is one of the most well-studied of what we call medicinal mushrooms, right? I mean, you can pull up many studies in PubMed. I mean, here's a couple right here. For example, Ganoderma lucidum, which is known as reishi or lingzhi, they've shown that it suppresses growth of breast cancer cells through inhibition of AKT, NF-kappa signaling. So basically, they've shown that it suppresses growth of breast cancer cells. They've shown that it suppresses proliferation and oxidative stress of ovarian cancer cell lining. There's tons and tons of articles in PubMed that you can find on reishi and reishi, lingzhi, ganoderma. Those are 3 names for the exact same thing, just so people don't get confused. But it's incredible, just that alone. And then each one of these mushrooms, you can find many studies on them, from anti-inflammatory properties to anti-cancer properties to, immune enhancing, right? All kinds of things. It's pretty incredible what these mushrooms have. And what's cool is that a lot of these mushrooms actually have, 4,000, 5,000 years of history, right? Chinese medicine that goes back thousands of years have used mushrooms for all kinds of healing. And what's I find interesting about our modern day is, like, our ancestors figured this stuff out somehow without laboratories like we have, without modern scientific equipment, right? They figured out that these plants, these herbs, that they were medicine, and they figured it out through logic, through reasoning, through intuition, through use and practice, and I'd say spiritual divination, right? Without all and now our science is just saying, yep, you guys were right. Yep, you guys were right. Yep, you guys were right. It does help the body heal. It is anti-inflammatory. It does help get rid of cancer. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, the hunter-gatherer, that generational pass down Yeah, there's now an evolution where we are seeing science supporting it, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. And especially like with male prostate related cancer, there have been also additional studies about the cancer cell apoptosis, which is basically the cell death that gets enhanced by reishi, as well as an assortment of other mushroom blends. So yeah, I mean, it is, I would say probably the cancer category of research and mushrooms, as well as other compounds, is definitely leading the charge in clinical research and clinical studies. So it's great because now we have the ability to cite what's founded. We have the ability to understand too, as well, they're measuring the milligram dosage, and we can start to sort out, okay, what are maintenance levels and what are therapeutic levels from a perspective of prescribing or recommending to patients. How much do you take? And also, are there any toxicity levels, and being able to measure that?
Absolutely. And just to clarify for people, I'm not a doctor, you are, but I'm not a doctor. I'm a researcher and a health advocate and an experimenter. And so I take this, and I know it's a potent blend, 7 of the what I would consider top healing mushrooms out there, plus they're organic, plus they're fermented, right? It's like you don't get much better than that. So I can't prescribe, but I can recommend and I can describe. And I do recommend this for everybody, for, you know, just prevention or helping your body do what it was designed to do, which is heal itself. So that's why you know, we've done this podcast today. We've put a link below this video where everyone can get a really special discount on the product. I encourage everyone to try it for yourself and see your own benefits. And then if you want to do some further consulting with a naturopathic doctor like Dr. Melissa, you can do so as well. What's the best way for people to reach you, Dr. Melissa?
Sure. So the best way, now I'm virtual. So folks can schedule virtually a virtual appointment. We do it through Zoom, and we record our appointments so people can reference that as we progress in their journey, and they can go to the website and book online. So super, super easy.
Awesome. So that is, your website's naturalhealthresources.com, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Naturalhealthresources.com. You can connect with Dr. Melissa. Click the link below for your special discount on the organic 7M mushroom blend. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much, Dr. Melissa. I appreciate your time. I know it's been a really busy time for you, and it was kind of a juggle for us to make this happen, but I'm really glad that you did. This has been super helpful. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, my honor to get to know you, and I wish everybody tuning in ultimate health and happiness. Please share this with friends, family, anyone who can benefit from knowing this information. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.